You were almost asleep. You closed your eyes and thought, today was a good day. And then it came, that memory. Out of nowhere, suddenly, a specific moment, sometimes from weeks ago, sometimes from years, that just appeared there in the dark, too vivid to ignore. Something you said, a reaction you had, a silence that lasted 1 second longer than it should have. Like, it's not even a big deal, but it wasn't anything serious. You know that. Some part of you knows that. But now you're lying there, eyes closed, replaying that moment frame by frame. As if going over it again could change something. It won't change anything. But your mind keeps playing the scene. It's midnight, or maybe 1 in the morning. The room is dark, your phone is face down, the world outside is quiet. And you're lying there thinking about a conversation from 3 weeks ago. It wasn't a fight. It wasn't anything serious. It was one of those small situations, a lunch with coworkers, a message you sent, a response you gave in a meeting. Something that, at the time, felt normal, or almost normal. But now, in the dark, your mind is replaying it. The expression on someone's face when you said that thing. The silence that came right after. The way someone changed the subject just a little too quickly. And you start putting the pieces together. A detail here, a pause there, a tone of voice that might have been different, and suddenly that small moment starts to feel big. Bigger than it was. Bigger than it should be. That didn't sound right, did it? You try to push it away. You turn to the other side. You close your eyes tighter, like that might help. It doesn't, because the scene comes back. And this time with more detail. Your mind, which should be resting, is working, reviewing, analyzing, editing, trying to find the exact moment when something went wrong. Why did I say that? And the worst part, you're not even sure if it actually went wrong. It's just a feeling. A vague weight that doesn't really have a name, but it's there, lying next to you in the dark wide awake. This always happens when I try to sleep. You know what's even stranger about all of this? You're not the only one. This happens to an absurd number of people, and almost no one talks about it openly. Because it's embarrassing to admit that you spent 20 minutes lying in the dark reliving a conversation the other person has probably completely forgotten. I do this all the time, by the way. Some people revisit something awkward they said months ago. Some get stuck on 5 seconds of silence from a random dinner. Some wake up in the middle of the night thinking about a message they sent that got a dry okay in response. Small situations. Moments that lasted seconds, that stay in your head for hours. And the pattern is always the same. During the day, you were busy. You had things to do, people to answer, tasks to complete. Your mind was in motion. But when everything stopped, it went back there. Like, why does this happen? Because you're not alone in this. And understanding why your mind does this, specifically at night, specifically when you're finally trying to rest, completely changes how you see this moment. This is where most people get it wrong. When this happens, when your mind brings that memory back the moment you finally lie down, the natural reaction is to think something is wrong with you. That you're too anxious, too sensitive, that you should just let it go and sleep like a normal person. But what if that's not it? What if your mind isn't torturing you for no reason? It's kind of strange. I don't really know how to explain it, but what feels like a problem, this nighttime rumination, this loop of embarrassing memories, is actually a mechanism. Something your mind is doing with a specific intention. It's not reminding you of that because it wants you to suffer. It's reminding you because it hasn't finished processing it yet. During the day, while you were distracted, busy, functional, it put that moment in a queue, waiting for the right time. And the right time, for your mind, is exactly when everything goes quiet and nothing else is competing for your attention. The silence of the night doesn't create the problem. It just reveals what was already there. During the day, your mind is in a different mode. It's focused on what comes next, the next task, the next message, the next commitment. This constant movement works like a filter. Things that haven't been fully processed stay in the background, waiting. And then you lie down. The movement stops. The filter disappears. And everything that was waiting starts to rise. And I keep thinking about it, like all the time. But why that specific memory? Why that exact moment, that sentence, that silence? Because your mind has an internal social review system, a mechanism that constantly evaluates how you are being perceived by the people around you. And when an interaction ends in a way that isn't clear, without confirmation, without closure, it marks it as pending, unresolved, and at night when there's finally space, it goes after those pending files. They notice, right? It's not weakness. It's not overthinking. It's a system that exists because, for thousands of years, being accepted by the group was a matter of survival. Your mind learned to monitor social signals very carefully, and to revisit moments where those signals were ambiguous. The problem is that this system was built for a world that no longer exists. Today, 5 seconds of silence in a conversation doesn't mean danger, but your mind hasn't received that memo yet. So it keeps reviewing, keeps searching, keeps trying to understand what that moment meant. Wow, that was really weird. Even when out there, no one else is thinking about it anymore. But there's something deeper going on. Because it's not just about the memory itself. It's not just about that awkward sentence or that silence. It's about what that moment represents to you. Think about it. When your mind goes back to that scene, it's not just reviewing the facts. It's asking a very specific question, on repeat nonstop. What did that person think of me? And that question carries a huge weight. Because underneath it, there are other questions you might not even realize you're asking. Did I express myself right? Did I sound weird? Was I good enough in that moment? I wish I could go back and fix it. And then you start editing. Mentally, you rewrite the scene with the perfect response you should have given. With the right tone, the right pause, the right word. You direct an alternate version of the moment in your head where everything went exactly as it should have. But that version never satisfies. Because you know it's not real. And then comes that specific feeling. It's not exactly guilt, not exactly shame. It's something in between. A kind of nameless discomfort that settles in your chest while the ceiling just stays there, unmoving, offering no answers. Yeah, it didn't go the way I thought. What makes all of this heavier is the silence around you. During the day, even if the thought shows up, there are people, noise, distractions. You can push it down. But at night, there's nowhere to push it. It's just you and that scene playing again, repeating over and over, and there's a layer that goes even deeper. At the core, what bothers you isn't even what happened. It's the uncertainty, not truly knowing what the other person felt, what they thought, whether they went home and forgot about it in 2 minutes, which is the most likely, or if they kept some impression about you. You have no way of knowing, and that's unbearable for a mind that wants to resolve, to close, to understand, so it keeps trying at 2 a.m, in a dark room, with the world silent. It keeps trying to solve something that can no longer be solved. And then, I don't know, you turn to the side, you sigh. You try to think about something else. And for a moment, it almost works. Almost. Here's the insight that changes everything. Your mind isn't torturing you. It's trying to protect you. It's just using an old tool to solve a problem that doesn't exist anymore. That loop, that nighttime review, that mental movie that won't stop, isn't a flaw. It's a security system stuck in a false alarm. And the moment you understand that, something shifts because you stop fighting the memory. You stop trying to force yourself to forget. And you start to realize that your mind doesn't need an answer. It needs permission. Permission to close the file. Like it's not even a big deal, but the truth is that moment has already passed. The other person moved on. The world kept spinning. And the only place where that scene is still happening is inside your head. Not because you're weak, but because your mind cares about who you are to the people around you. And that, deep down, says a lot more about you than anything you said in that conversation. So next time you're lying in the dark, and that memory shows up out of nowhere, don't fight it. Just recognize it. My mind is trying to close something. And that's okay. Because the mistake you think you made, it probably only exists in your head. The other person has already forgotten. The moment is gone. The only place where it still lives is there in the silence of your room, inside your mind. And maybe it's time to let it go. Seriously. What was the last memory your mind brought up like that, at the worst time? Write it in the comments. I guarantee you're not alone in this. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you next time.